Okay. Here we go. All right, interest sales tax. So you guys need to have a seat, please. Tommy, I need you to just remain in your seat. Thank you. You can take care of whatever it is you need to take care of a little bit later. Okay. All right. So turn to that first slide, you guys, in your packet after the do now. Let's make sure we're all there. I'm waiting on a couple of you to get there. We need to be on that first slide, first problem. All right, one more. There you go. So at the bottom, you have some unitary method already typed out for you. We're going to ignore that to start. I'm going to show you that way as well. But what I want to do is make sure that we relate these problems to the percentage bar model and just do it the way that we've been doing it. Remember how I told you, like, often we can have multiple tools in our toolbox and we can pull those out when they're appropriate. But first I want to show you this problem and then a couple problems later where it's unitary in your packet in a way that I think might be not as intuitive. So I want you to copy down everything that you see me copy, just like always. And let's get started. Mindy paid $88 for a coffee maker, inclusive of sales tax. Let's just hold the phone right there. Can somebody tell me what inclusive means? What they think it might mean, Cecilia? Yes, exactly. She paid $88 for coffee, a coffee maker. That'd be a real expensive coffee, wouldn't it? That's like, yeah, okay. Coffee in New York City, inclusive of sales tax, including sales tax. The sales tax is 10%. What was the price of the coffee maker excluding the sales tax? Okay, before we get started, let's just talk through this. What is 100% in this situation? Landon? It's not. It's not $88 because $88 has the sales tax included. So what's 100%? Kylie? No, because it's $88. It says it's inclusive of sales tax. So that means that in the $88, the sales tax is already included in that. Cameron? $88 minus the sales tax. Okay, so let's draw a bar model that shows that. All right, so when I draw my bar model, I'm going to show $88, but that is not 100%. 100% is over here. And $88 is the whole thing. So what percentage is this? What percentage is this extra chunk right here on the end of my bar model? Rajveer? Yeah, it's a sales tax. And how much is the sales tax? 10%. So what would this total be right here? If 100% is right here and we added 10%, what's this extra? What should I put at the end of the bar model? Exactly, 110%. Okay, so that, Rajveer, you're right, that's 10%, and this was 100%. So what percentage should I assign to $88? We're going to solve this using unitary method. We're just going to do it in two different ways. What percentage do I assign to that 88? Ashlyn? Exactly. So 110% equals $88. We're going to divide both sides by 110. Oops, I did a dollar sign there. I meant to do a percentage. So over here, we're going to have 1%. And over here, we're going to have 88 divided by 110. And remember how I've told you I like you to leave this to start? Don't start doing a bunch of long division, because guess what? When we multiply by 100 over 1, things are going to get easier, aren't they? So just leave it alone. We're going to go ahead and multiply both sides by 100. And this is going to give us our percentage, or I'm sorry, our original price. All right, so yeah, see my block. All right, so I got 88 over 110 times 100 over 1. I see some cross-canceling possibilities. What do you guys see? Owen? Yep, so just cross off a 0, divide both sides by 10. or divide the numerator and the denominator by 10. Oh, now I've got 88 and 11. That's pretty friendly, isn't it? What do I do next, Uzziah?
88 into 11 and then 11 into 1.
11 into 80. Yep, I can turn 11 into a 1. I can divide that by 11, and I can divide 88 by 11, and that becomes 8. Good. All right. So what's the original price of this coffee maker? Rajveer? $80. Great job. Okay. So let's go ahead and mark that. All right. So that you are so well equipped to solve with unitary method, let's do it the way that's printed in your packet, okay? We're going to draw one more bar model. So over the arrows, that's why I saved a little space over here on this side. We're going to do the same thing. All right, it's still true that 100% is over here and 110% is the total. So $88 is more than 100%. When I think about 100%, and I know that I can easily divide 100% up into 10% chunks, right? How many units would I have if I divided my 100% bar into 10% chunks? Let's just talk about the 100% right now. How many units would that be? Kylie R? That would be 10 units. Good. That would be 10 units. Okay, so here's how we're going to draw 10 units. We're going to split it in half, and we're going to draw 5 in each half. That's how we get there evenly. All right, so there are my 10 units. And then I have this extra unit right here. How many units do I have total? Rajveer? I have 11 units, and they're all 10%, right? So it's the same as 110%, isn't it, folks? It's just a different way to think about it. So instead of doing my percentage bar unitary method, I can just do regular old unitary method and say that 11 units equals $88. I would divide both sides by 11. 1 unit would be equal $8. And then what would I multiply by in this situation to get my original price? Owen? Yeah, I would multiply both sides by 10. So $80 would be the total cost of the coffee maker. So personally, I think, I don't know, what do you guys think? Is this way more intuitive, or is this way more intuitive? Yeah, right or left? Right? Because this is the way we've been doing it. Sure, and that's totally fine. This is just another tool for your tool belt. And if your mind works this way and you can see like, oh, I can just tell, if I just divide my bar up into 10 units, that's 100% of 10% each. And then I've got sales tax, which is another 10%. So that's just 11 units. You can do it that way. There's nothing wrong with that, but this will always work. Okay, any questions on that, you guys? Is it confusing at all to work with more than 100%? A little bit? Yeah, so when we remember, when we're talking about 100%, at the beginning of the unit, I reminded you guys about this a couple times. Let's not work ahead, please. Whatever we're comparing to, that is our 100%. So if we have a situation where we've got like we've got a price after something has been added to it, the original price, what we're comparing to, that's our 100%. So try to think about it that way too. Tommy? 110 in this case is the numerator, because it would be 110 over 100, right? So 110 and then fraction bar per 100 cent. Is that what you meant? Yeah, okay. All right, let's do another one. Okay, Francisco. That's fun to say. Francisco. We're getting there, you guys. Who watches Elf every year? Okay. All right. Francisco gets a monthly allowance from his mother. This month, his mother increases his allowance and gives him $75, which is 25% more than his previous allowance. How much allowance did he receive previously? Well, Francisco, I'm going to say too much. unless you're like cleaning the entire house. Okay, let's draw a bar model. What are we comparing to? Where is our 100%? Is it how much Francisco is getting now? Or is it how much Francisco got in the past? Piper? Let's, okay, in the past, right? We're comparing it to his previous allowance. So let's go ahead and draw our 100% right here. We don't know how much he made. That's what we're trying to find out. What percentage of his previous allowance does he get now? Actually, let me rephrase. What percentage did his mother add on? I know his mother's awesome. Check out that line next to the end. What percentage did his mother add on? Stella? Yeah, okay, so what percentage of his original is Francisco now getting? What's this total that we need to write there? I want to make sure we're all following along with me and not working ahead. Morgan. Well, we're talking about percentage. So I just want to add, right now what I'm looking for is a percentage to write here at the end of the bar. That is a total percentage. You're right that it's $75, and we can go ahead and we can write that down here. That is our total, but what percentage is that? Exactly, 125%. Good job. We want to find out how much Francisco was making earlier. Okay, so we're going to assign 125% to $75. What's the next? In your packet is a little, why don't we cross off the 20? Let's just do this over to the side. All right, you guys write with me. I don't want to really do it that way. Let's do 125% is $75. Okay, what do I do next? What's next, guys? Jace, what do you think? What do I do next?
Find 1%.
Yeah, I need to find 1%, so I'll divide both sides by 125. And I'm really trying to find this original bit, the original 100%. What dollar amount did he make? So what do I do now? Kylie Biss, what do you think?
How much you need for?
Yep, I want to figure out how much he made before, which is this chunk right here. So what percentage do I need to multiply both sides of my problem here by? Don't look at your packet. We're doing it this way over here. We're doing it the way that we've been doing it, where we take it down to 1%. So now what do I multiply? Okay, this is why we need to make sure that we're sticking with me all the time. Okay, Michael, what would you do? Multiply it by 100. Yep, we're multiplying both sides by 100%. Okay, lots of cross-canceling magic ready to happen. Who's got some ideas? Mira.
So you can divide 125 and 100 by 5.
Can I divide it by 25?
Yeah.
Can we do that instead?
Yeah.
All right, what's 125 divided by 25, Mira? If 100 divided by 25 is 4, 125 divided by 25 would be. Yeah. Did you say 5? Yeah, good job. divided by 5. Oh, now I have a 5 and a 75. Let's make that a 1. What's 75 divided by 5? Dorothy? 15. Good. And 15 times 4 is what? $60. He went from 60 to $75. Lucky. Maybe let's not assume the worst. Maybe Francisco is like mowing a 3-acre pasture once a week. I don't know. Michael.
Notice this week that for some reason, I've been seeing that problem a lot. It's either 70 or 75 by the
Huh.
time.
Interesting.
It's like,
So now you should have it memorized, right? Okay. So hold on, let's go ahead and fill out your packet. So this is just another way to do it. We would start with assigning 125% to $75. And then remember, it's completely fair you don't have to go down to 1%. If you see some math, some flexibility, you can just go down to 25%. So right here, we divided both sides by 5, and then 25% equals $15. And then you would only have to just multiply both sides times 4 to get 100%. So $15 times 4 would equal $60. It's the same thing that we did. We just went about it a little bit differently. And instead of going all the way down to 1%, we could see the relationship between 25% and 100%, and that was a little bit easier. So either way is fine. Okay. There's one more way to do this. And that is to assign units to this situation. Maybe you are flexible enough to see that $75 could easily be divided up into 5 units. And you could compare that. Let's divide that into 5 first so I can get a reference point. Okay. Since he has more than 100%, our 100% could be divided up into 4 units of 25% each. He's got this extra 25%, and we want to know what the original is. And in this case, what we would do is we would solve for 4 units. So we would start with, are your eyes up here, Tommy? We would start with assigning 5 units to 75%, taking that down to 1 unit by dividing both sides by 5, which would give me $15. And then this is exactly what we did before. We just multiplied it by 4. And that gave us $60. So with this method, what you're doing is you're understanding that 100% can easily be divided up into 4 chunks of 25% each, right? So you're seeing the relationship between this 25%, which is the extra right here. And you're thinking to yourself, I know I can divide 100% up into 25% chunks, and that gives me 4 even units. So that would just mean that after Francisco gets his raise, he's earning an extra 1 unit. Does that make sense to you guys? It's another way to do it. That's a fair way to do it. But again, you can always just assign the percentage to the new amount, take it down to 1%, and then multiply by 100 if that's what you're solving for. Okay, just like we did in that first situation. And that will always work. Okay, let's do a couple more. Actually, let's take a break. No, let's not. I'm gonna do this one, and then I'm gonna have you guys do a Toyo. Okay. So number 2, can somebody read this out loud for me? Go ahead, Uzziah.
The store orders some boxes of a new brand of cereal from their supplier. The supplier gives the store an additional 3% of the numbers of boxes ordered as free samples for customers. The store receives 1,648 boxes in all. How many boxes of cereal did the store order?
Okay, awesome. Let's start with our bar model. Okay, remember, we're comparing a later situation to a previous one. We're comparing to 100%. We don't have that previous quantity. We have 1,648 boxes total. What percentage is 1,648? Look back at the problem. What percentage is that? Ashlyn Mason? Did you say 132? 103. I think that's, yeah, I think I misheard you. Good job. Yeah, so that's going to be 103% because they earned an extra 3% or as a gift or whatever. All right, so we're going to assign 103% to what guys? Say it. 100? Okay, 103% equals, whoops, I don't want you to see that yet, equals what? What is it?
648.
Okay, well, Shafiq knows. How about you guys? Okay, great. What am I solving for? What percent? 100%. Okay. All right. So we are going to divide both. I'm just going to do this way. We're going to divide both sides by 103. And when I go to multiply this by 100% in just a moment, is that 103 going to help me much? Not exactly, right? Like, do you guys see any cross canceling that can happen here once I set this up to be multiplied by 100 over 1? We don't have any common factors here, do we, with 103 and 100? So we're actually going to have to do this long division. You guys ready?
No.
You ready to try to beat me?
No.
Do it? Okay, heads down. Let's do this. I think I made a mistake. Did I make a mistake? I did make a mistake. Yeah, I did. All right, yeah. Oh, good. That's what I got. Okay. Is that the final answer?
No.
No, it's not. What's my final answer? What is it?
1,600.
Yohan, what's the final answer? 1,600. Good. 1,600 boxes of cereal. You guys can go ahead and fill that out. So we solved 1,648 divided by 103, but then don't forget, we've got to multiply by 100 at the end. All right. I would like you guys to do number 3 on your own. That is a Toyo, yes. And help me out with this one. Macy, can you read it first, please? Okay, nice job. How did you figure this out?
So it would be to find this. Well, so I did 114 divided by 406, which would equal 4.
Okay, so you mean that you did 456 divided by 114, I think, right? Okay, good, which equaled 4. Good. You would, good, you'd multiply it by 100/1. Now, do you remember how I told you to leave these problems like 456 divided by 114 and then multiply it by 100/1? So you can, but on this particular problem, hopefully you notice that 456 divided by 114, that was going to be an even number. And so, either way, you would have ended up with the same answer. But yeah, you should just be recognizing, like, you should just be able to see this and be like, oh yeah, 114, I've got 100 times 4, that's 400. I've got 14 times 4, that's 56. I can see that maybe it'll be easier just to go ahead and divide this one out. Okay, good. I walked around and looked at your bar models. Most of you had good bar models, but let's check it really quick. You should have had one that looks something like this, where you had 114% over here, which was the total price, including the warranty. And we need to find for 100%. Okay, we are not going to do the next one. Go ahead and open up your workbooks to workbook exercise 6, please.